next merch message, please.
Yes, sir.
Give me
Thank
something
you.
controversial, Dan. Let's make him squirm.
Okay. Was LTX as successful as you had hoped? There you go.
I don't know. That is the real, honest to goodness answer. I have the revenue numbers, but I don't have any of the expenses. So there's more revenue than I expected. But what I do know about the expenses, even if I don't have any numbers for them, is that they were more than we expected. How much more?
Don't know.
However, I will say that aside from the business side of things,
Which is very important.
which is critical, like that determines whether we can continue to do it. The community side was absolutely incredible. Other than a couple
Absolutely.
of cranky posts the first day that I'm not saying the crankiness was illegitimate. I'm just saying it was present. Other than a couple of cranky posts the first day, the community reaction from creators and from viewers and from our vendors, like our commercial partners there, has been overwhelmingly positive. Pretty much every major brand that participated that has talked to us about it at all has said, we want to double down for next year. We are already thinking about budgets for 2024 and how we can come back way bigger because the vibe is just
Oh, it was immaculate.
totally
Immaculate
different than
vibes.
any other show. And that is by design. You remember the original pitch for this? I shouldn't say the original pitch. I should say, because 17 was supposed to be just like a meetup to serve the purpose of meetups.
Yeah.
So that we just like don't have to do them anymore. Do you remember what I called 18?
It's been a long time.
I called it
honestly.
a carnival.
Yes. Yeah, I remember that.
And that was why we had like bouncy games. And that was why we had
17 had games as well. I think you were calling it Carnival back at 17.
Was I? Okay.
Because it had like the bungee rope running game.
Did
and
17 have that? Are you
absolutely.
sure?
Yep. Because that was at the Langley Event Center.
Okay,
I have
all right.
photos of it.
So fine. Originally then, it was a carnival.
Yeah.
So it's a convention / but there has to be engaging stuff to do. And we drilled that into the brand partners because if you leave a brand
I
partner
strongly believe in
to
that.
design their booth, they will have a little table with a tablecloth and they will put their product on it and they will sit there and they will wait for people to ask them about their product.
Or you get the like and not to I have lovingly gone to PAX for many years and not to dog PAX, but something that happens there decently often is you'll get this massive booth from this massive game publisher that is used entirely as hopefully it's cushy, comfy carpet land because there's just like TVs playing YouTube trailers of their games and nothing else.
Yeah.
It's like, man, why did you even show up?
So we told brands, look, as cool and chill as it is that you want to give us money to be here, that is actually not your primary main objective. Your primary main objective is to be interesting, is to have an activation that people can actively participate in.
Sorry. Keep going.
So that we have stuff for people to do. And so we were like, look, we're flexible about it. It can be as on topic or as off topic as you want. So like Vesa was there and they had Can You Spot the Difference? Like HDR versus not HDR. And we had Brandon from the lab there to talk people through, what they were seeing. Ari had a cool setup where you could like operate a frickin', $80,000 camera or whatever that rig was actually that lens was probably worth $80,000. And I forget if you could film something or like shoot something. We had a thumbnail booth where people could take assets and create their own thumbnail. So we wanted things that people could sit down and do and be doing. We don't want people walking around. We want people doing stuff. We want them doing stuff with other members of the community. And most of the brands kind of got it this year. Next year, we are going to draw a much firmer line in the sand. If you don't have something cool to do in your booth, you are not coming. That simple.
If next year happens.
If next year happens, which is not confirmed because business things.
Yeah.
And I'd say that in terms of getting closer to what my vision for the event was, this year was a big step up, and I got to give major kudos to the team because I actually gave them far less guidance this year than I had in previous years, and we ended up with something that was far closer to what I wanted than previous years. So they had just nailed it. There are certain things that I probably could have told them should have been done a different way.
There was a few things that, like, not to dog on them, but there was a few things that, like, if 2019 was last year,
we wouldn't have made that mistake.
Totally.
Yep.
Yeah. Because it's some of that, like, top of mind type of problems.
It's not just us. Like the line management.
Oh, I completely
The
believe
line
it.
management on the first day, our spec was way better than what got laid out.
Yeah.
Everybody's rusty.
Yeah.
The whole convention industry was like off for 3 years.
There was communication to at least me that the event staff at the convention
Yep.
had been laid off during COVID, and it is a lot of very new hires
Yep.
that are not super experienced with cons with that level of enthusiastic attendance. A lot of conventions that show up, it's like
industry events and stuff like that.
routine industry stuff. People
Yep.
are just kind of cruising around. This was like a very hype event.
Yeah, and there's a
Different type of management.
there's like a man, even attendees I feel like kind of bunged it up in a certain way. Like I went through the line for the build it yourself screwdriver
I
at
wish
the
I did
beginning
that.
of the first day.
Yeah.
And I walked through and went to a number of people. I was like, this is a really long line. There are lots. You should go do something else right now. And none of them left. They all just stayed in the line. And I get it. I actually get it because you want to get it right away. So like you can get it signed by people or whatever, right? Like I get it. But also, a lot of the complaints we got were about how long that line was. I'm like, but if no matter how many things there are to do in the hall, if everybody just goes to the same thing first and then immediately goes up and lines up for the next thing second, there were things we could have processed the line faster. Same with pickups. We didn't even find out that the convention center had a special Wi-Fi network that's like more stable for POS terminals until late in the first day.
Yeah.
That would have saved us so much
Would have
friggin'
been
time.
pretty sick if they told us that.
I am not blaming the community for anything. We play our own part, but also I just think people are just kind of a little rusty about how to min-max this stuff. From the convention center side, from our side, from the brand side, from the attendee side. Like everyone's just like, yeah, we gotta get somewhere to go again.
Yeah. My group that goes down to PAX, we used to like plan stuff out quite specifically around like line timings and all this kind of stuff. So it is what it is.
Yeah, Gats in Floatplane Chat says, yeah, it's been rough. Our community our company just did our first convention since pre-COVID. And I could tell we were all rusty. I mean, at least you guys still have the team, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
At least we still have our team. It would be really hard if we just had all new people.
Yeah.
I would have had to micromanage the bloody thing.
Something that I really, really didn't like, and I know this is like different people have different opinions on this, and I'm not judging anyone else's opinion on this, but for me, when there was the meetups, like the official scheduled meetups, when the time got down to 15 seconds, like, why are we even here?
Well, actually, no, I'm going to counter that argument. I think that for next year, with high volume meet and greet people, we should actually have multiple lines. So we should have like a literal selfie only line where people basically get, like they hand someone their phone, they go in, get the hell out of here.
This is the...
Whoop. And so on and so forth because, go ahead.
No, this is the other kind of problem too, is you need the person that's like doing the line management to be very like outgoing and on it.
And everyone was new this year.
Because they're 100%, and I'm not dogging on anyone.
Yeah.
I appreciate the help. There's a lot of volunteers. It would have not worked at all without you. So I'm not digging there. But like, there would be times where I have to like shout out to everyone in line, like, please, it's a 15-second timer. Have your phone out and ready. Have the thing you want to sign ready. Let's do this like movement.
Yeah.
So my idea was put the thing you want to sign on the table.
Yeah.
After you've handed off your phone, line up for photo. I immediately go to sign the thing afterwards. Ask me a question, whatever,
or don't,
and then we fire off. But then we'd waste more than the entire time window sometimes just having people pull their phones out, get signed in. Get to the camera
sorry,
app.
I'm not on the right. Oh, I can take that picture for you. Oh, thank you so much.
And then the timer's at zero.
And then, oh, wait, it's on the wrong. Oh, I'm not familiar with your app. Oh, now I have to change the camera because you were going to take a selfie. Okay. Click, horizontal. click, vertical. No,
Yeah.
there's literally 80 people in line behind you. Take one picture. And I'm not like, I get it.
I felt really bad. There was,
But it's all the other people too, right? Like, it's not that I don't want to spend the next 9 minutes with you. I would actually love that. I would love to have
a lot
one
of the
longer
interactions at
conversation.
LTX were fantastic.
I'd love to have one longer conversation compared to 100 meaningless short ones.
Yeah.
But you got to also understand, a lot of people are just there to get a selfie or to get something signed, to collect all the signatures on their GPU or whatever. So what I think I'm going to propose for next year is we have a meetup line where you actually get at least 30 seconds to 45 seconds or a minute or whatever it is. And then you have an express line for just signing a thing. You have an express line for just taking a picture, because my first day, they didn't cut off my line. So I got to the end of my time when I actually needed to leave because I was at a prior commitment. And there was a huge line left. And so I basically went, okay, I have 3 minutes left. What can I do? And I was like, all right, everybody, get your phones out now. No phone out. You're not in selfie camera mode. I can't stop. I'm going to walk through the line. And so I basically just walked through the line.
That's a good idea.
Click, 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 click. So I managed to hit like 40 to 60 people in like 5 minutes. And so, and for a lot of them, yeah, they wanted to chit chat. And I'm sorry,
That feels bad. Yeah.
But if we could separate out the people who want to chit chat from the people who actually did just want to get a picture, then we could process way more people way more efficiently. So it's little things like that I'd like to figure out how to do better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have
it
we
feels
still
bad too when you get into the rush, it's when you get to the back of the line. So it's a lot of people that have been waiting the longest.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, well, I'm completely out of time and I have to churn through this. So you have like 5 seconds.
Sorry.
You just waited. However, yeah, I don't know.
You waited for half an hour or whatever. Like, I always feel, I hate wasting anybody's time.
One thing that I actually found pretty good success with was when I would just like not be scheduled for something and I'll just randomly have a line form. When I would know that I would need to leave soon, I'd tell the person at the front of the line, like, just wait a second. And I'd walk to the back and I would deputize whoever would be willing to not let anyone else in the line and then just get through the queue and then take off.
Yeah, I found that did not work for me.
Oh, it did for me. Luckily, I only ended up doing it twice because I only thought of it too late. The first person that I deputized was by profession a security guard.
Hilarious.
So it just like was perfect. I was like, wow, this works really well. And then I tried to do it again. It didn't work, quite as well, but it still sort of worked.
Yeah, it didn't do anything for me. And I even had Sherrod following me around the whole time, just like shepherding me to where I was supposed to go. But like, people will ask anyway. And I always just feel terrible if I don't.
Do you do the like if you can keep up thing?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, I do that too.
Yeah. People will be like, can you sign something? I don't know. Can you walk fast?
Yeah.
And what I find is that if I am actively signing something for someone and moving, people get the hint that I am actually busy. I had Dennis, I think, was telling me, oh, I do the like on my phone thing and I walk really fast. I'm like, that does not
that doesn't
work for me
at all. Yeah.
No, people will interrupt me anyway.
I didn't know there was like a more staff area bathroom.
Yeah.
So twice.
I found that really early on. It was great.
Meet and greets start in the bathroom.
Yeah.
That was a little weird.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, I would request to not in the future. That'd be great.
Because you got to understand, like, we have a really hard time saying no because we know it's why you're there, and it's kind of why we're there too. Not why we're in the bathroom, but it's why we're in the building.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, there's a lot of stuff that I think that we could do better, and I think that...
And it was a great show.
Yes.
And that combination is actually great.
Yes. And the community was
a really good spot to be in.
Amazing. Everything that we're saying right now, even if we're like, hey, it's all we know
super positive.
We know it
really
comes
friendly.
from a really good place.
Oh yeah.
We get it, which is why we feel bad for not doing it, because we know that you guys are cool and
there's no negativity in that action.
Yeah.
They're just excited.
Yeah.
Which is great. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just also awkward because
it's like standing at a urinal. It's like, hey, do you want to sign my dick? Right? Like, it's...
You want me to sign it? Can you hold that for a second?
Yeah.
Linus, you seemed nervous for the first bit last WAN show, but quickly seemed to be having a blast.
Okay, I saw some comments about this too. I didn't read that at all. I thought you were fine. I thought I was like, I took a few seconds to kind of get into the groove of things.
See, I thought you did great.
Oh.
And I definitely felt a little bit off the whole time, though. I didn't feel like it was at the beginning and not at the end.
A little bit, yeah. Like it's weird doing it live. The biggest weird thing for me is we didn't have our monitors.
Yeah.
Like we had the mics. Mine didn't fit me at all, so I was trying to force it onto my head the whole time.
That's hilarious.
But normally we can hear ourselves talking, and like I can hear him talking through my thing. I can hear Dan talking, so I know roughly what the stream hears.
Yeah.
There, I had no idea.
And it's really challenging too, because for the same reason that in person is much higher energy and more dynamic than when we host the show remotely, live, I'd say, is another equal step down from remote and just the two of us, because we have known each other a long time. We read each other pretty well, and we will just step on each other when he's about to ramble. He's going to talk about AI for another 15 minutes, and they don't care, or it would be unfair for me to not give an equal and opposite example. He's about to get the entire company destroyed. I need to step on this before he continues talking. Okay,
there's also
we good? We equal?
We're good. We're good. There's also like you notice someone kind of stumbling, so you just catch and keep going.
Exactly, and so we can jump on each other like this, and it's not disruptive to the pacing when we don't have to wait for a stream delay, or when we don't have to wait for the audience to have a chance to hear clearly what we're
laughter,
saying,
or potentially response, because we would like ask a question which normally is just
each other,
or and then people in the audience would start yelling out answers, which was like cool. It was just different
and delayed. Especially when someone will say something and then someone else is like, haha, I have something to add to that as well. So it creates this chain reaction,
which we're not sure that you can hear.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. But yeah.
I mean, it's a really good energy though. I definitely enjoy it, but I don't know if it makes for a better show.
I got a lot of comments that people very much enjoyed it live. And there was a bunch of comments saying that it was very kind of fun and interesting to watch on the VOD, but I wouldn't be surprised if retention was like a little bit lower.
I'm going to check because now I'm curious. But yeah, it could be one of those things that people think they prefer, but then when you look at the overall numbers,
that's what I'm
most people don't.
Yeah.